Today we're going to be heading out to the Star for their monthly 675 tournament. Always gets a good run out, and most of the regs are up in the Gold Coast for WSOP. The only downside is that Star, they don't let you film at the tables, so we're going to have to recap our hands on break, but it's no issues. I'll see you there. That was eventful, to say the least. We have 3 start stacks. We got down as low as 1/10 of a start stack. And here we are, end of Rego. Some absolutely ridiculous hands played, which I'm keen to go through. Every reg is up at the Gold Coast, like I said before. So my table, I have 1 guy that I recognize. The rest, these guys just come out of the woodwork. They blast. It's a lot of fun, but it's also
high risk, high reward.
And we've just sat down, start stack of 50k and blinds are 400, 800. The older man limps under the gun for 800, and then another older gentleman with sunglasses and a hat on makes it 2400. We peel the 10-9 of diamonds in the cutoff, and I think you can go either way between call and 3-bet here. I elected to 3-bet to 7200 this time, but I kind of in hindsight prefer calling to keep the old man in. Our hand's one of those hands that benefits a lot from seeing 5 cards multi-way, but nonetheless, the old man folds, and after a quick tank, the Sunnies and Hat calls. So we go heads up to a flop of Ace of Diamonds, Jack of Diamonds, 8 of Clubs. We elect to bet 25% of the pot for around 4.2k, and we get the snap fold, sadly, from Sunnies and Hat, but hey, great start. This is definitely, if not the most interesting hand that we played. Under the gun, tough regular opens to 2100. The old man who limped earlier calls in the hijack, and we peel the 9 of spades, 9 of diamonds in the small blind. Playing about 45 big blinds. It's close. I think a little bit too much to jam. I definitely thought in game that I wanted to squeeze because of the old man calling. I would have just flattered pre if he didn't come along. So I make it 10.5k. The regular uses a time bank and then folds, and then the old man comes along. So when I'm ranging him here, I think it's going to be a lot of pocket pairs, lower than 9s, and then some suited broadways, some suited ace-x, that sort of thing. So the old man has 28 BB behind going to the flop, which comes King of Clubs, Queen of Diamonds, 8 of Clubs. Obviously horrible for our hand, but really good for our range. And I think I want to go for a micro bet of around 15% here, just to charge his low pocket pairs that are going to continue, clean up some equity against ace highs, without a backdoor flush draw, hands like that. I'll put the solution here on the left. I wasn't sure, but this is what I came up with in game. He calls the 3.5k, and on the 3 of hearts, my hand is very clear check. I check. He has 27,800 in his stack, so 125k chip, and then some loose change, and he bets the loose change. So he bets 2.8k into a pot of what is over 25k, almost 30k. We have an easy call, obviously, and then on the King of Diamonds, I check, and he goes all in for 25k. And obviously we have a pretty clean bluff catcher, beating his low pocket pairs that decide to bluff, blocking some of his King X, and I think, well, at least I thought in game that his King X would bet a lot bigger on the turn, especially with a flush draw available. And old men usually don't like to let people get there with their flush draws. So after a time bank, I did flick it in, and we lose to the Ace-King offsuit. Not much to say about this one, I don't think. Again, this is on the ish side. It's not GTO. We all know that, but we're left with 6,000 at 1k big blind. Sunnies and Hat opens to 2200 from UTG7, and we flat the low jack with the King 9 of spades off 26. We end up going 5 ways to a flop, which comes King Deuce 6 with 2 clubs and a spade. Checks to the pre-flop aggressor, who bets 5,200. We call, and the rest fold. Turn is a very, very sexy looking King of Diamonds. When he bets 7.2k, we decide to put the rest of our chips in for 18k and get the quick fold. I think that we do want to jam our hand here. Don't want to call with flush draw available. He can still call lower pairs. So don't think there's much to be said. Let me know if you would have gone a different way with this one. Blinds are up to 600, 1200, and the old man limps in the cutoff. The button, who's a unknown recreational, makes it 5,000. The button calls, a small blind calls. We peel the pocket sevens in the big blind off start stack, which is 50k, so 40 big blinds. Don't think there's much of a discussion to be had here. I think it's a very easy jam. Can call, but I think I just want to pile this spot with all the dead money available. So I do that. I move all in for 50,000 or thereabouts. The PFR tanks and folds, but the button comes along for his remaining 35k. I turn over my hand, but I forgot that the small blind is still to act. He sees I have the 2 sevens. He says, let's go. He puts it in.
He loves to gamble.
With the king queen off. So we go 3 ways. And I'll let you see the board here, because it is a very spicy one. Funny that me flipping my hand over early actually made me an extra start stack, so don't do that, but things can work out in mysterious ways. We return from break and our friend the old man is at it again. He comes with limp for 2,500 from EP. We make it 8,500 with the ace of spades, 8 of diamonds on the button. Definitely the worst hand that I would do this with, but I think that I really need to take this spot playing in position against a guy who has shown the propensity to be pretty passive post flop. He comes along and we see the queen 6 deuce with 2 hearts and 1 diamond. He checks and I go for a range bet of 7k. He quickly calls, and on the jack of clubs turn, once he checks, I think that this is a spot to continue to apply pressure to his flush draws, his low pocket pairs, 6x, deuce x, even turn jack x. So I go for a bet of 14k, and after a pretty lengthy tank, he puts his hand into the muck. By now I'm sure you're catching on as to how the next hand's going to start. Yes, the old man limps under the gun for 3k. We overlimp the pocket 4s in the cutoff, and both the small blind and big blind complete. I didn't particularly want to ISO the old man with the 4s this time, just because there were some 20, 25, 30 big blind stacks behind that put us in an awkward spot if we ISO and get jammed on. And we see the very beautiful 9-7-4 with 2 diamonds. Both blinds check. I decide to bet 8k and only the big blind calls. We see the 8 of spades on the turn. Kind of dicey, jack 10, 6-5 both getting there, but still rate to have the best hand majority of the time. He checks, I bet 19k, and after a time bank, he jams for 73k. I cycle, thinking that he's going to jam his 2 pairs on the turn, like 9-8 suited, 9-8 off, 9-7 suited, 7-8 suited. We still beat some value. I don't think I can fold my hand. But of course, he has the jack 10 offsuit and we do not get there. We're short, we have start stack and 15 big blinds, and we need a spin. A couple of hands later, the guy who won with the jack 10 makes it 7k at 3k big blind from middle position. Small blind jams for 22 big blinds, and we peel the ace king off from the big blind, playing around 30 big blinds. Obviously very easy jam here. We stick it in and we beat the pocket 10s in a nice flip to win. So we are back to 145k, 3 start stacks and almost 50 big blinds. We then lose 5 or 6 hands in a row and we move tables with 35 left.
Dropping like flies.
Not much goes on, and then we head to break, 13 off the money. Alright, still in, short, coming back to 10 bigs, but we are about 15-ish off the money. We're gonna need to spin with the 4s. I wonder if we can have a fold, like it's just such a bad turn card, but he's gonna jam all these 2 pairs, I think, so all we can do is try and give it a spin. 18k up top, pretty nice. Be a good year saver. Let's see what we can do. Very first hand back from break, we look down at ace 10 offsuit in the hijack, playing about 10.5 big blinds. Very easy jam for us, so we oblige and put the rest of our chips in. Folds around to the small blind, who quickly puts a stack in, and he has ace jack of spades. We are in big, big trouble.
Too many over.
Alright, unfortunately no luck for us in this one. Happy with how we played. Just a couple of coolers, get it in a standard spot. These things happen. Next up, we've actually realised that WPT are having their Maximus tomorrow on Sunday, so we'll jump in and fire that. And then we've got the King Series next week, which we will be locking in for. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next one.